let's talk about something that feels, well, terrifyingly real, a simulated war. Today, we're going to break down the anatomy of a modern conflict, and we're using a really detailed simulation from the BBC as our guide. All right, let's jump right in.
You know, it's the kind of question that probably keeps diplomats and military planners up at night. Because a new war, it's not just about tanks and jets anymore. A modern conflict would ripple across the globe in seconds, and it would affect everything from the price you pay for gas to who our allies are. So to really wrap our heads around this, we're going to look at a fascinating exercise run by the BBC. They simulated a full-blown crisis involving the US, Israel, and Iran. And what they found is, well, it's a pretty stark warning about just how fragile our world is. But let's be super clear about one thing. This isn't a prediction. It's not what will happen. It's a chilling look at what could. Every huge conflict has a flashpoint, right? That one spot where the first domino falls and sets everything else in motion. In this simulation, that place is one of the most critical maritime choke points on the entire planet.
The Strait of Hormuz. I mean, look at it. It's so incredibly narrow. But its importance is just massive. A huge chunk of the world's oil supply has to squeeze through this tiny channel. If you control the strait, you basically have your hand on the throat of the global economy.
And this is exactly where the simulation kicks off. The US makes the first move, a blockade of Iranian ports. Iran's response? It's swift and it's defiant. They seize 2 international cargo ships. It's this classic, dangerous test of wills. A move, then a countermove, and with each one, the tension just ratchets up.
And this quote from Ibrahim Azizi, a senior Iranian politician, wow, it just says it all. For them, this isn't just about military strategy. It's about national sovereignty. It's about pride. The lines are drawn very clearly and very, very publicly.
So a standoff in one little strait, you'd think it would stay there, right? Wrong. The first shockwave, the one that hits almost immediately, is economic. And it hits everyone, everywhere, right in the wallet.
The reaction from the markets? It's immediate, and it is brutal. From the moment the simulated attack kicks off on February 28th, energy markets just go into a total frenzy. We're talking wild, unpredictable swings in the price of oil that send waves of uncertainty through the whole global economy.
And hey, if you're thinking, okay, prices go up for a week or two, we'll manage, think again. The simulation has this really sobering warning from a government minister. This price pain could last for 8 months. Just imagine, 8 months of everything costing way, way more.
And this isn't just some number on a screen, right? This stuff has real-world consequences. All of a sudden, airlines start canceling flights because jet fuel is just too expensive. Businesses are scrambling because their supply chains are broken. The very gears of the global economy start to grind to a halt.
So we've got the economic pain, but that's just the first domino. From there, it gets political, with fractures between allies, and most importantly, it gets down to the devastating, deeply human cost of war.
At the very highest levels, even rock-solid alliances like NATO start to show cracks. In the simulation, some allies are really hesitant to back the war, and it causes so much tension that you see emails flying around the Pentagon about how to manage the fallout. It just goes to show how fast a regional war can threaten partnerships that took decades to build.
And the conflict just refuses to stay in one place. It's spilling over. A ceasefire in nearby Lebanon completely shatters. People are killed. And at the same time, citizens in the UK are protesting at Air Force bases being used in the fight. The war is spreading, both across borders and into the public's mind. And then there's this. Amidst all the grand strategy and the high-level politics, the simulation brings us this one. Small, heartbreakingly modern detail. A couple, forced to flee their home, finds out it's been completely destroyed. Not from a phone call, but by looking at a satellite image. That is the real cost of war. It's not measured in barrels of oil, but in shattered lives.
So, at the exact same time that all of this is happening on the ground, there's another battle raging, a war of narratives, of propaganda, an information war for hearts and minds.
And you get this incredible back and forth. On one side, you have President Trump trying to paint a picture of Iran's leadership as chaotic and divided, and on the other side, Iran counters by sending a mass text message of unity to every single person in the country. It's a 21st century propaganda war.
And the information war gets even murkier.
Iranian state media drops this super dramatic, high-production video of its forces taking over those cargo ships. But you gotta ask yourself, is this even real? Is it a reenactment? In a modern conflict, seeing is definitely not always believing.
So, after going through this whole intense, incredibly detailed scenario, what's the big takeaway? Why does a simulation like this even matter?
I think the core lesson is just how deeply interconnected everything is. A single spark can literally ignite a global fire. This simulation isn't really about one country versus another. It's a story about the fragility of our entire globalized system. It shows this terrifying cascade, from military standoff to economic panic to crumbling alliances, all the way down to the personal tragedy of one family losing their home.
So yeah, this was just a war game. It was a hypothetical. But it's built on very real-world tensions, and it exposes just how vulnerable our systems truly are. It forces us to ask a pretty uncomfortable question. What other hidden fault lines are lying just beneath the surface of our world? And are we really ready for the day one of them finally breaks?